Hey, it's Lisa Walker from Melbourne, Australia, your online marketing coach. And today we're going to talk about a website and why it's important to own your own website and what type of platforms you can use to actually build your website too, and the advantages of having your own hosted website. So basically it's really important these days to actually have your own website for your business, and whether you're like a solo entrepreneur or you've got employees and you're a bigger corporation, it's very important to have a presence out in the online marketing space, and also for branding as well. And so people can get to know who you are, they can see you on a repetitive basis, they get to know your branding, your logo, your colors, what you stand for, what you're all about, and it also becomes a hub, somewhere like a place where it's going to be your home base. And it's very important, like now with a lot of the software that's out now that is for lead generation or making capture pages, a lot of the time these companies will tell you that you don't even need a website anymore, that you simply just need to use these capture pages. And while you can make a basic website using these pages, it's not really recommended, and we'll cover these reasons throughout this video. So basically what you want to do is you want to build credibility around yourself or around your brand. So whether you're marketing your brand or you're marketing you want to build credibility and authority, and a website does that for you. So basically once you start putting up loads and loads of content on your site, this enables you to get found in the search engines and also generate traffic to your site and find prospective customers for your business. So basically what's the difference between a static website and a website that's active, basically that hosts like a blog, for example? A lot of companies, they don't really have time for blogging, and it's a lot of work, and they sort of think, oh, why do we really need it? A site is all we need. We just need the basic pages like services, about me, contact page, etc. But the reason why it's so important is because these static websites very rarely just get found in the search engines. Basically, a lot of these companies could just pay a lot of money just to run Google ads back to their site to advertise their business. But if you want to start learning to get traffic to your site organically, which means unpaid, and when I say unpaid, it's not really unpaid because you're actually going to be having to do the work. So you are exchanging time for money. But what this means is that you can actually have the authority to build your website over time to get found in the search engines. And it's not something that happens very quickly. It's actually a lot of work and it does take time, but it does actually pay off. So what happens is if you've got a static website and the content's not really getting updated very often, well then Google doesn't really appreciate that. They are Google, you need to look at them as like a business. So they're there to serve their audience and their customers to find the most up-to-date relative information or content out there on the internet. So basically the people that are putting out the up-to-date content on a particular subject or niche or industry are the ones that are always going to win in the search engines. So basically if you've got a blog and you're or even it could be like you may not necessarily call it a blog, you may call it news or just updates, whatever you want to call it. Basically if you're updating that content regularly, like every week, then over time you will be building up that content to a lot of posts and articles. And then if you actually try to create those posts or articles around keywords, what people are searching for, a keyword or a phrase in the search engine, well then basically when people are searching and typing in that phrase or keyword, you have a higher chance of your web page being found or your article, and that leads that person to your website. So that's the reason why it's good to keep your blog active, keep putting fresh content all the time, and then slowly move up in the search results in the search engines. Now, when we talk about building a website, basically one of the best platforms out there to use is Wordpress. Now, some of you may have a website and some of you may not. If you haven't got a website or you've just got something basic and you haven't put too much work into it, if you're not on WordPress, I would definitely consider redoing your whole site and starting again if you haven't got a lot of content on there already, because WordPress is really the best platform out there and nothing can really compete with it right now. Now the reason why is because there's a lot of plugins and there's a lot of add-ons, and what plugins are they just little pieces of software that you can add into your site. So what you really need to do is you need to think about a long-term strategy. What do you want your site to be in the future. You know, perhaps later on you might want to add a membership site, and you might want to have some of your followers become members, and you might want to start charging monthly subscriptions in exchange for some information or some courses, or you know, a lot more further information than you're willing to share for free on your website. So this is something that you need to think of for future. And there's a lot of platforms at the moment that are quite basic that don't necessarily have these add-ons, and because WordPress is the most popular, they have the biggest range of add-ons, so that you can get little plug-in pieces of software for just about everything. And because it is the most popular, most of the web developers are actually creating plugins for WordPress more than anything else. So I would definitely recommend WordPress, and you can actually get some really good themes out of a box. And basically the themes range from around about $39 US up to around about $100, but they're definitely worth investing in a really good theme. You don't want to just use one of the basic WordPress themes. In fact, you can get some very good free themes out there. I'm actually using one on one of my websites at the moment. It's a magazine style layout theme, and it's actually awesome. It's amazing that it's free, and it's very up to date. So you can stumble across the odd free one, but to be honest, most of my sites I buy paid ones. Now if you go to elegantthemes.com, you can get one of the most popular themes right now called the Divi theme, and this is a theme that a lot of people are using right now, and you can customize it to make a beautiful website. You are kind of stuck with it a little bit if you use this theme. It's not easy just to chop and change to different themes later, but it's definitely worth the investment. And the great thing with Elegant Themes is you can actually pay like a yearly membership, and then you can download all of their themes for free. Well, not free, I mean obviously you pay the membership, but you don't have to buy all the themes individually, and they're very user friendly as well. The other site I would recommend that I brought lots of themes from is studiopress.com, so that's another place to go. So basically when you want to self-host your own website, which is what I recommend, don't go and host it on another platform. Like, don't go to wordpress.com, because then you'll end up having, like, for example, a name, yourname.wordpress.com. You want to be really professional, and you want to buy your own domain name, and you want to install that onto wordpress.org, and so that you can actually, people just type in your web domain address, and it doesn't have any other abbreviations on the end of it, and it looks way more professional, and it's an easier link to also give out. You know, some people are using other website platforms like Squarespace and Wix, but I honestly don't recommend them. They're okay, they're not bad, but WordPress is still definitely the best, definitely the leading platform at the moment. The other thing you want to be aware of and beware is if you get somebody like a web developer or web designer to actually make a website for you, you don't want them to use their own hosting and host your website on their server, because that also means that you've actually got not really any control. And a lot of the time, if you want to make any changes to your website, they do this for a reason, so that if you want to make any changes, that you actually have to go through them, and then you've got to actually pay them to do the changes as well, and you don't have full 100% access to your site a lot of the time. And also, if they close their business down or there's something went wrong with their server, you've got absolutely no control. So if you install your website with a really big hosting company that's really a lot more well known, you've got a higher chance of things not going wrong with it. You've got a lot better customer service as well, and you also have 100% full control on your own website. Now, why is this important? It's important because with today's digital marketing strategies, you want to be able to implement tracking codes on your own website, and this is very important. It's actually very easy to do. It's really just a copy and paste job. If you feel like you're not, competent enough to do it, or you don't feel like you want to do it, you can pay virtual assistants or marketing agencies to do things for you. I actually have my own agency and a virtual assistant as well, so I can do things like this for clients too. But it is actually very easy, and there's lots of tutorials on YouTube of how to do it. Basically, it's just on WordPress, for example, if you want to install like a Facebook tracking code, it's as simple as just installing a plugin which is called Header and Footer, and then basically you go and copy and paste the code from your Facebook Ads Manager account, and then you copy it over to this header and footer, and then you click save. It's as easy as that. It's very easy. Now, why do you need a Facebook tracking pixel? This is very important for every website today, and what this is because Facebook have brought out new ways to retarget audiences with their Facebook ads, what this actually means is that you can actually install a Facebook tracking pixel on your website, and every single time that you get a visitor to your site, whether you are associated with them on Facebook or they've ever seen your Facebook ads or anything, may not even know who you are. What happens is they go to your website, and then even if they click and then leave and leave straight away and click away, Facebook actually tracks that information and who they are. And if that person is a Facebook user, which most people are these days, when you want to make up some Facebook ads, you can actually retarget that audience that has actually visited your website. So, and that the great thing about that is those people are usually warm people. They're usually a warm audience because they're already familiar with you and your brand, and they've already been to your site. So they are a lot better lead to actually target your ads to than a cold audience. So it's very, very important. Now you can actually install tracking codes for other platforms as well, like Google and Twitter. And it's very important as well when you have your own WordPress website that you actually install Google Analytics. And this is going to tell you lots of information about the traffic to your site, where these people are coming from, and this is how you learn and gather information and research information about your target audience as well, to find out where they're coming from, all sorts of information, so that you can retarget them, and also to learn more about your custom your audiences as well. So what else have I got here? Now some companies, some bigger corporations, they will have total control over, say for example franchises. They will have total control of their websites, which is a real shame if you're in that situation as well. And also people like network marketers, this is a big problem in this industry as well, because the network marketing companies want to control their distributors. So basically they will make all these replicated websites that all look the same, and they'll tell their distributors, here, you've got your own website, pay so much a month and you have your own site. But unfortunately you've got absolutely no control of that site, and there's not really much you can do on it. So although you may have to have one of those replicated websites for selling some of your products, it's still definitely a good idea to brand yourself as a marketer on one of your own websites as well. So even if you've got a replicated website, I'd still recommend you making your own website for yourself to build your brand, because what if you ever leave that company as well? You want to build your following around you, not around the brand of that product or that company. So that's another reason why it's really important. Sorry, there's a lot of bugs out here. It's getting to the evening now. So it's not good enough to just market online your business on social media or just on capture pages. It's very, very important that you have your own website, and this is going to be your home base. And this is where you're going to always direct people and traffic back to, where all your best content's going to lie. And the other great thing too about your own website is you can use this as a email marketing strategy as well, to collect email addresses and to build your list, and to give away things like lead magnets, which we'll talk about on another video, which is things that you create of value to offer your audience in exchange for their email address, because people don't just give up their email addresses very easy these days. You need to actually give them something of value in return. So for domain names, if you haven't got one already, I would suggest .com is really good if you're wanting to brand yourself and you're wanting to go global, because if you eventually sell online digital information, you can sell that anywhere in the world. You're not just stuck into the country that you're in. So it's a really good idea to get a .com. And if you live, for example, in Australia, you can get like a .com.au as well with the same name, and you can actually redirect that to the .com. So if people just presume you live in Australia and they type in .com.au, they're still going to find you as well. But some of you may find that a lot of the .coms are gone, and if you're going to have your name and brand yourself, a lot of the names are, several names depending how popular it is, are taken as well. But the other option a lot of people are doing at the moment is they're having a .me. So say for example, for my name, I could have lisawalker.me. If my .com is taken, which it actually is. So what I've actually got is I've got workwithlisawalker.com, and I've also got a Lisa Walker Online, which is just a new site that I'm building out, and I actually prefer that domain. I didn't know about the .me at the time, so that's another option as well. Domain names are only a matter of a few dollars to buy. In Australian dollars, they're probably, I think they equate to probably about anything between $12 and $20. About $22 if you're getting a .com.au, and normally you have to register your ABN number with that as well. Now, what else have we got here? Just seeing with my notes here. The other thing is, yes, with your own website, you get the advantage of controlling your own SEO. And what SEO means is search engine optimization. So what that means is you can actually customize your own website, your own web pages, your own articles and blog posts, all around keywords, around your niche, around your industry, and this is really important to get found in the search engines. And a lot of websites that aren't that you don't have the control over, you don't always have the control over the SEO, so you'll never come up in the search engines either, which is another really big thing. The main thing is sometimes it's just good to do the basics, but do them really well and put out really good quality content and content that's intentional for a purpose. So just remember that every time you write an article or a blog post, you're actually writing with intention of getting your audience to actually do something, to click on something, to go to the next step, whether it's to opt in and give them your email address to exchange for a lead magnet to get on your list, whether it's to guide them to another page. You want to make sure you always have links inside your blog post leading to another area of the website, because the goal is to always keep that traffic, that person, is to always keep them on your website for as long as possible, so that you don't have high bounce rates, because the higher bounce rate you have, also that looks bad in Google's eyes as well, and they won't give you preference in the search engines. So you want to create a quality website with quality content, keep your users around as long as possible, and then you could also even create a Facebook community and start building a following and guide those your traffic over there, and start building even a deeper relationship with these people. And this is another reason why email marketing, which we'll cover on another video, is also very important, because you want to build relationships with people and you want to offer them loads of value before you actually offer them your product or service and ask for a sale. So that's extremely important. Okay, so we've covered sort of about plugins, domain names, hosting, pretty much covered all the basics. We've got a lot of things to talk about in future videos, and we'll go into things a lot more in detail, and also I'll be doing a video on telling you all the things that you need to remember when you're actually writing an article or a blog post to optimize it for SEO, so that you can eventually come up in the search engines and get found, because that is our goal, is to get traffic to our site. Now, the last thing I'll close with is you need to think of your website like this. Basically, there's millions of websites out there, and think of them all out in the ocean, a big sea of ocean, and basically all these websites are just tiny little ships, tiny little boats in the ocean, for example. Tiny little islands is probably a better analogy. And how are those people ever going to find you when you're competing against millions of other websites? Basically, the only way that they're going to find you, really, apart from eventually coming up in the search engines, the only way they're going to find you is by you building a bridge back to your website. And you can build a bridge by lots of different platforms. With social media is one, for example. Every time that you post on social media and you post a link back to your website, or you've got a link in your bio, you're building a bridge back to your website. Now, another thing is linking back to your website. Maybe you're commenting on someone else's website in the same niche as you, and you're leaving a comment, and you've got the opportunity to leave your website link in there when you fill out the comment form, and that's another way of linking back to your website, and that's forming another bridge. So basically what you need to think about whenever you do anything, any content on your website, and then you're going to be sharing it on social media or whatever platform you're going to be sharing that article, you need to always think of how you're going to bridge that gap to get people back to your site. So that is your main central hub. That is the place where you are going to be sending people all the time, where your best content lays, and everything that you do out on the internet is all got to have a purpose, and it's all got to be sending people back to your site. So think of it like that, and if you don't build the bridge, no one's ever going to find you. So anyway, thanks for listening today, and we've got lots more to talk about, way more in depth, and on future videos. So thanks for listening. I hope you've learned something, and go and get that website up ASAP. And if you need any help, you can leave a comment, reach out to me. I can actually build WordPress websites for people, but on top of that, I can lead you in the direction of how to find a virtual assistant or something like that as well. So thanks Thanks for listening, and see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.